Very good afternoon to everyone. On this occasion of the launch of Startup Accelerator from MEIT for Product Innovation, Development and Growth, the SAMRIDH scheme on the Amrit Mahotsav program, Ministry of Electronics and IT, it's my honor and privilege to welcome amongst us Honorable Minister for Electronics and IT, Communications and Railways, Shri Ashwini Vaishnaw ji amongst us. I'm also honored to welcome our Secretary, Dr. Shri Ajay Sahni sir, Secretary MEIT, Jyoti Arora ma'am, Special Secretary and Financial Advisor, Dr. Rajendra Kumar, Additional Secretary MEIT, Bhuvnesh Kumar, Joint Secretary MEIT, all officers of MEIT and associate organizations, startups who have joined us remotely on the occasion of the launch of the SAMRIDH program today afternoon. SAMRIDH program, as we all know, is being launched by MEIT to give support to more than 300 startups with a support of up to 40 lakh rupees and trying it out with accelerators and providing mentoring and mentoring support. This will go a long way in helping achieve India's vision of software product nation. The policies which MEIT has been formulated for promoting startups has resulted in growth all across, and we have been seeing increasing number of startups being incubated in India, increasing number of startups getting funding, increasing number of unicorns being incubated in the tech sector, and this step will be one amongst the several others taken to push forward this agenda of promoting startups. With these remarks, I would like to invite Dr. Rajendra Kumar, Additional Secretary MEIT, for his address.
Thank you and good afternoon to everyone. Honorable Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, Railways and Communications, Secretary MEIT, Special Secretary and FA MEIT, my colleague Abhishek, all my colleagues from MEIT, NEGD, and all the MEIT organizations. It's a delightful occasion for me to present here on this occasion of launch of this startup accelerator for MEIT, which is named as SAMRIDH. As we're all aware, India is currently the world's third largest startup ecosystem with more than 50,000 startups and more than 10,000 of them which are tech focused. MEIT has played a key role in the evolution of this entire startup ecosystem in India. And currently, through our programs like MEIT Startup Hub, we are supporting over 4,000 startups. MEIT also has been running a very successful program called TIDE for the past several years, which has helped in giving a fillip to the incubators across the entire country. All these efforts have borne fruit in really making India the startup capital of the world. And in the current year alone, we have seen emergence of 25 unicorns, taking the total number to 63. And some studies point out that if we also take the other unicorns, other startups which are not really formally valued, the number of unicorns is over 100 already in India, which makes it one of the world's fastest growing startup ecosystem. This is also part of the overall MEIT's vision to take our digital economy to the level of $1 trillion by 2025. And in this entire effort to achieve that goal, the startups, they are playing a key part. MEIT also has been making a lot of efforts in promoting emerging technologies. We have a very focused program on artificial intelligence. In other domains as well, we have launched strategies and very focused projects to support the industry to really improve their capabilities and become the world's best in their domains. We also are working with industry, with the states, and with all the departments in the Government of India to promote our wider digital transformation agenda, which consists of e-governance projects, which also consists of digital and IT infrastructure. In all these domains, MEIT's efforts have always been to involve all the stakeholders and work with them closely to ensure that the objectives of the digital transformation that MEIT has envisioned for the country, those can be achieved in the shortest possible time. We hope that the goal of $1 trillion digital economy can be achieved in the next 5 years. And that would certainly lead to a major transformation in our economic growth paradigm and hopefully help us to achieve the goal of $5 trillion GDP by 2025 as well. I wish all the very best for the success of this program by MEIT. And I also hope that all the startups, the entire startup innovation ecosystem would take advantage of MEIT's schemes and activities for promoting startups in India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind remarks. And as you said, the startup ecosystem will go a long way in helping us realize our digital dream of a $1 trillion digital economy. Now, I request additional Special Secretary and Financial Advisor, MEIT, Srimati Jyoti Arora ma'am, to give her remarks.
Honorable Minister, sir, Secretary MEIT, my colleagues, Additional Secretary Rajendra Kumar, Joint Secretary Saurav, Bhuvnesh, Abhishek, Mr. Garg, Jeet, and friends from the startup community. आज समृद्ध प्रोग्राम के लॉन्च समारोह में शामिल होने पर मुझे बहुत हर्ष का अनुभव हो रहा है। आईटी प्रोडक्ट्स और आईटी सर्विसेज को प्रमोट करने का दायित्व MEIT, जो कि मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी है, इससे कई वर्षों से, क्योंकि इसका दायित्व हमारी मंत्रालय का है, इसलिए MEIT कई वर्षों से आईटी स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम को भिन्न-भिन्न प्रोग्राम से सपोर्ट करती रही है। जैसे कि मेरे कलीग ने बताया, मिस्टर राजेंद्र कुमार ने, चाहे वो टाइट प्रोग्राम हो, सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस का प्रोग्राम हो, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन इंक्यूबेशन स्कीम हो, सशक्त प्रोग्राम हो, या फिर MEIT स्टार्टअप हब, जो कि इन प्रोग्राम्स को और अन्य इंक्यूबेशन प्रोग्राम्स को स्टिचअप करने के लिए बनाया गया है। इन सब से हमें आईटी सेक्टर में स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम को क्रिएट करने में काफी सफलता मिली है। ये प्रोग्राम्स बहुत स्टार्टअप को इंक्यूबेशन सर्विसेज में सपोर्ट देने में सक्षम रहे हैं। किंतु मंत्री महोदय, मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगी कि इन प्रोग्राम्स को क्रियान्वित करते समय हमें ये महसूस हुआ कि इन स्टार्टअप्स को अगर हम ग्लोबल स्केल करवाना चाहते हैं, जहां इंक्यूबेशन फैसिलिटीज तो हों ही, परंतु जहां प्राइवेट सेक्टर इन्वेस्टर कम्युनिटी जो है एक कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ आए, इनको सपोर्ट करे, ताकि हम इनको एक लार्ज स्केल कंपनीज में कन्वर्ट कर सके, उसके लिए हमें लगा कि एक सेपरेट स्कीम की जरूरत है। मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगी कि इस स्कीम की परिकल्पना सिलिकॉन वैली के वाई कॉम्बिनेटर के अनुरूप की गई है। आपको तो मालूम ही है कि वाई कॉम्बिनेटर की स्टार्टअप की चयन की प्रक्रिया, मेंटरशिप, प्रोवाइडिंग एक्सेस एंड कनेक्ट विद इन्वेस्टर कम्युनिटी इतना स्ट्रांग है कि हर चयनित स्टार्टअप सेलेक्ट होते ही अपने आप को यूनिकॉर्न समझने लग जाता है। हमारा भी प्रयत्न है कि हम प्राइवेट सेक्टर एक्सेलरेटर्स जो भी एक प्रक्रिया के तहत ही चयनित किए जाएंगे, उनकी क्लोज कोलैबोरेशन के साथ हम भी एक ऐसा ही इकोसिस्टम यहाँ पर इंडिया में ला पाए। आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में, जहाँ पर 2021 में ही अभी, जैसा कि राजेंद्र ने बताया, 25 यूनिकॉर्न्स ऑलरेडी बन चुके हैं। ये स्कीम बहुत कंटेक्चुअल है। इस प्रोग्राम के तहत हम 300 स्टार्टअप्स को सपोर्ट करेंगे, 40 लाख की सीड मनी देंगे। इसके अलावा जो सेलेक्टेड एक्सेलरेटर्स होंगे, जो कि हम 8 या 10 का कोहोर्ट एक बनाएंगे, उसमें 6-6 महीने का प्रोग्राम रन करेंगे और एक जो मेंटरशिप, मार्केट एक्सेस और इंडस्ट्री एंड इन्वेस्टर कम्युनिटी का जो कनेक्ट है वो प्रोवाइड करेंगे। और हमारी अपेक्षा है कि हम इन 300 में से, हमारा प्रोसेस इतना स्ट्रांग होगा और हमारी हैंड होल्डिंग इतनी स्ट्रांग होगी कि हम इन 300 में से कम 100 यूनिकॉर्न्स बना पाएंगे। आज का ये फंक्शन हम आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के तत्वाधान में कर रहे हैं। ये प्रासंगिक ही है कि जब हम आजादी की 75वीं वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं, हम ऐसी स्कीम क्रियान्वित करें जो हमारे युवा वर्ग को अपने लिए ही नहीं बल्कि और लोगों के लिए भी एम्प्लॉयमेंट के अवसर प्रदान करने और राष्ट्र की इकोनॉमी में सहभागीदार होने के लिए क्षमता प्रदान करें। आई एम श्योर सर, अंडर योर लीडरशिप एंड सेक्रेटरी सपोर्ट, MEIT will be able to bring lot of speed and success in making dreams of vibrant IT and deep tech aspirational startup community convert their ideas into large companies success. Thank you.
धन्यवाद मैम। जैसा आपने कहा कि इस योजना के तहत हम एक्सेलरेटर्स को बढ़ावा दे पाएंगे और यूनिकॉर्न्स को भी एस्टैब्लिश करने में सफल हो पाएंगे। नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट सेक्रेटरी MEIT श्री अजय साहनी सर टू गिव हिज एड्रेस।
Honorable Minister for Railways, Communications and Electronics and IT, Shri Ashwini Vaishnaw ji, my colleague Srimati Jyoti Arora ji, Dr. Rajendra Kumar ji, Abhishek Singh ji, Jeet Vijay ji, other dignitaries and startups and people from the industry, people from the media who are present on this occasion. Very good afternoon to all of you. Today we are in a position to celebrate the huge number of startups that we have in India. We have not just abundant talent that is fueling the growth and continued success of our IT companies. Many of the existing and very young companies are increasingly going into product space, into deep tech space. The reason that we have so many unicorns happening in India is that we have India scale. There is a possibility of any successful product, any successful startup offering its services and building its reputation, building its market, serving the entire country. We have huge amount of talent. That talent that was earlier looking for employment, and today they aspire to provide employment and not seek employment. Many of them now aspire to provide employment and not be employment seekers. The huge amount of work that has happened in IT, in e-governance, in the public sector, governments, as well as in the private sector. They have built a strong foundation on which our startups can build with confidence. The earlier electronics was not there. Now electronics has momentum, and there is a possibility of not just building something which focuses on software, but on building devices, on building solutions. There is also an increasing number of nationwide domain platforms that are taking shape. A domain platform for payments, digital payments, UPI, on which already a lot of companies have become unicorns. A domain platform on healthcare, which is taking shape, another on education, another on agriculture, and many other logistics and other domain platforms. Each of these domain platforms can connect our startups with the India scale market in one go, made easy. In this situation, we have to concentrate on incubation, which we do already with about almost nearing 100 incubators now in our fold. But when some company actually is able to come up with a good product, and there is a stage at which they need to grow very rapidly, they need more infusion of more funds. And not infusion of funds at that stage. They are still not ready for the prime time with VCs. It is still a pre-VC stage. At that stage, I think we need acceleration. And we, having recognized this gap in our ecosystem where more needs to be done, have created a small but a very important scheme, SAMRIDH, which will over a period of time pick up 300 such startups that are now ready for the acceleration stage. And we join up with accelerators which bring in money on their own, and they also combine it with money which is available on soft terms from the government, and both combine to give not just money, but mentorship and a lot of other support that is required by the startups at that stage. That is SAMRIDH scheme. And we are really delighted that our Honorable Minister is formally launching this scheme today. And it heralds a very important milestone in our journey towards building confidence in our startup community, that if you are capable of imagining, designing, creating products which deserve to be in the larger market, we are there to walk the talk along with you. Thank you, sir, for agreeing to launch this scheme today. And I think it's a great occasion today to be for the startup world. Thank you for giving me also this opportunity to be a part of this function. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your direction and leadership under which we all are delivering the projects. Now we have come to the launch of the SAMRIDH scheme. I would request our Honorable Minister to press the button for the launch of the SAMRIDH scheme.
Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has been working tirelessly to translate the vision of Honorable Prime Minister into a reality for young entrepreneurs by launching funding schemes, building Center of Excellences, launching hackathons and grand challenges, and aggregating resources for the startups under MEIT Startup Hub. The National Policy on Software Products 2019 led to the formulation of several schemes, initiatives, projects and measures for the development of the software product sector. To further boost the software product-oriented startups and enable the startups of today to become the industries of future, under National Policy on Software Products, MEIT is launching the SAMRIDH scheme through MEIT Startup Hub. 300 startups would be funded under the scheme and supported in their growth journey by leading accelerators in India. SAMRIDH, a scheme aimed to create a positive social impact towards making India the biggest startup hub. Do you know, with close to 1,200 tech startups, India is the second largest startup ecosystem in the world. But with the Indian software product ecosystem continuously evolving, around 50% of the startups fail by the 4th year of their inception. The key reason for the failure is not faulty product or service, but lack of right funding at the right time or not understanding the market dynamics for their products. The newly introduced SAMRIDH scheme will support existing and upcoming accelerators to select and expedite these potential product-based startups to scale. It will offer an investment of up to 40 lakhs. The program will focus on accelerating the startups by providing Customer Connect, Investor Connect, and Internationalization Connect services. It will provide startups that already have brilliant solution facilities to enhance their product using innovative technologies. It will enable them to easily obtain investments from venture capitalists and angel investors. Wondering who all can apply? Those who have been in the incubation business for over 3 years and supported more than 50 startups with at least 10 having non-public investment, or have targeted accelerated programs with an experience of running at least 3 cohorts, have operations in India, have necessary space and infrastructure to carry out activities for the startups. Initiatives like SAMRIDH are creating a fertile ground for startups to grow while taking the country amongst the top startup ecosystems in the world. For more details, don't forget to visit www.mightystartuphub.in.
Thank you. Now we request our Honorable Minister for Electronics and IT, Communications and Railways to address the gathering.
Thank you, Abhishek. Secretary Mr. Sahni, officers of MEIT, and my entrepreneur friends. I'm delighted to be a part of the startup ecosystem. It has been a very interesting journey. Throughout my entrepreneurial journey, I mentored about 20 odd startups, and that's where I learned how important it is to support the startups during the most vulnerable part of their journey. And which is the most vulnerable part of the journey? The beginning. The part when the idea is getting converted into a product and product is getting scaled up, that is the part of the journey which is the most vulnerable part. And as we all know, more than 50% of the startups are not able to cross this bridge due to various reasons. Startup entrepreneurs are very passionate about their ideas. I've seen the energy when startup entrepreneurs pitch their ideas, the conviction they have in the idea, and the way every startup entrepreneur that I've met in my journey would always believe that his or her idea is the best idea in the world. That's the energy which drives a startup. That's the energy which propels it. That's the fuel of a startup. Beyond this, there is always a big gap between the skills, between the management ability, the requirement of the business environment, and the entire set of parameters which are needed for a startup to succeed beyond that. That's the part where I think we all will, from the policy support side, from the government side, from our scheme side, from our funding side, we will be in the coming months and days, and we have been doing this for some time, and in the coming days and months, we will be focusing mostly on that initial part of the journey. Once we help the entrepreneurs and startups to navigate that part of the journey, things become much more easier. Then lots and lots of things start coming together. People start supporting, funds come in, venture capital comes in, management graduates would like to be part of that journey. Things happen, but during that initial phase, the most vulnerable part of the journey, support is needed, and that is the support we are focusing on. I've seen how many of the entrepreneurs struggle in creating an organizational structure. Something which is as simple as creating an accounting or finance department or a commercial department can sometimes be a real big challenge for tech-oriented startup entrepreneurs. How to control costs, that becomes a major part of a challenge. People start, even though one would have come through a journey where even 1 rupee is important, 100 rupees is important, every 1 lakh is important, still how to systematically categorize what is costing, how to control the costs, how to scale up, how to take a commercial view of a product, how to get the right contractual structure in place, how to make sure that, okay, if a product is there and it will require some after sales support, there will be some rejections, how to create those systems is where many of our startup entrepreneur friends really struggle. I'm speaking out of my personal experience of mentoring startups and my own entrepreneurial journey. That's where people really struggle. If through our initiatives and through our funding, if we are able to create a support system for these kind of skill sets, which are generally missing, of course, once a startup reaches a level, after that, there would be graduates who would like to work in that startup. That is the time when lots of management skill, lots of commercial skill, lot of finance skill, all those skill sets start automatically coming in. Before that is the part when they need support of government. So our strategy has been, will be, and it will be scaled up in a significant way, in which incubators, accelerators, product development support, getting the right mentors, getting the skill sets which are not there within the startup, getting all those things together. We would like to scale that up 10x, 20x, 30x kind of scaling up we would like to do. I sincerely believe, and purely based out of experience, I am saying this, funds are never a restraint, a constraint, or lack of funds is never an issue. Lack of getting the idea into realistic product or lack of collecting the skill sets which are needed to convert that idea into an enterprise, that's the bigger issue, that's the bigger challenge for most of the startup entrepreneurs. If we are able to tackle that, if we are able to support the entrepreneurs in that journey, then probably our value add will be huge. Our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, his vision is absolutely clear as far as the startups are concerned. We believe that technology, we believe that the energy of youngsters, the energy of entrepreneurs is a great potential source of energy for inclusive development. Our society, as we stand today, requires lots of initiatives, lots of new ideas, lots of new products, lots of new services, which will create a better life for the marginalized sections, for the society, for those persons in the society who are at the bottom of the pyramid, who are standing in the last of the last line, people who are living in absolutely remote areas like parts of Odisha, parts of Chhattisgarh, parts of northeastern India, parts of Jammu and Kashmir, parts of southern India, where the mainstream development has still eluded the people living in those areas. And that's where the technology can play a major role in accelerating, in taking a quantum jump, in reaching out to people which would have taken many years, probably using the energy of startups. These areas can be reached within months. Employment in traditional industries as well as employment in new age industries, new age startups is a stated mission. It's a stated goal of our government, stated vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and initiatives and schemes like SAMRIDH will help accelerate the implementation of that vision. I thank all the officers, I thank all the entrepreneurs who have joined, all the media persons who have joined this launch of SAMRIDH mission, SAMRIDH scheme. And I hope in coming weeks and days and months, more such initiatives will be launched by the ministry to accelerate, to scale up, to rapidly increase the support system for startups during the most vulnerable phase of their journeys. Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय मंत्री जी। निरंतर विभिन्न डिविजन्स के द्वारा निरंतर काम किया जा रहा है और अनेक योजनाओं को मूर्त का इस योजना को मूर्त रूप देने में बहुत योगदान रहा है और आईएफडी का भी विशेष योगदान रहा है। मैं उनको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं कि उनकी वजह से ये योजना जो है इस रूप में आज यहाँ लॉन्च की जा सकी है। मैं एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी महोदय जेएस श्री सौरभ गौड़ जी और माईगॉव के सीईओ श्री अभिषेक सिंह जी, जिनके सहयोग से आज के इस कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाया जा सका। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। हमारे एसटीपीआई, मेटी स्टार्टअप हब, एनईजीडी और उनकी टीम से विनय ठाकुर जी, बनाली मुखर्जी, जीत जी, इन सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं कि उनकी अथक प्रयास से आज का यह कार्यक्रम सफल रूप से संपन्न हो रहा है। इस योजना को लागू करने में डिवीजन की ओर से डॉक्टर अजय गर्ग और डॉक्टर संजीव गुप्ता ने विशेष प्रयास किए हैं। मैं उनको भी इसके लिए धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं। जितने अधिकारी जो आज इस कार्यक्रम से जुड़े हैं, जितने प्रतिभागी इस कार्यक्रम में भाग लेने के लिए आए हैं, स्टार्टअप से आए हैं, मैं उनके उज्जवल भविष्य की कामना करते हुए उन सबको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ। पीआईबी से सहायक निदेशक सुश्री मोनिका जी, जिनके माध्यम से इस कार्यक्रम के प्रचार प्रसार करने में हम सफल होंगे, मैं उनको भी धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ। और मैं अंत में अगर किसी का नाम लेने से छूट गया हो, और पूरी टीम के सदस्य जो किसी न किसी रूप से प्रत्यक्ष रूप से या अपरोक्ष रूप से इस कार्यक्रम से जुड़े हैं और जिन्होंने अपना योगदान दिया है, मैं उन सब के प्रति अपना आभार और धन्यवाद व्यक्त करता हूँ। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
There are a few questions online.